Major updates have been released in the 4-year-long YNW Melly case. Things continue to look concerning for the Florida rapper after new evidence was released of his best friend YNW Bortlen discussing the incident of Sakchaser and Juvy's passing with the feds. YNW Melly was originally arrested alongside his other best friend YNW Bortlen, as they are the two main suspects in this court case. For the last 4 years, YNW Melly has been sitting inside of his jail cell. Meanwhile, YNW Bortlen is on the outside, enjoying life, doing whatever he pleases. Which, for a court case resulting in the passing of 2 members of YNW, this looks a little suspicious. Many people believed that YNW Bortlen snitched out on YNW Melly to be released, but however, on the night of their arrest, YNW Bortlen was the only one interviewed by police. Meanwhile, YNW Melly was just sent to his jail cell and no one said a word to him. The interview with YNW Bortlen and the feds has now been released, and I'm gonna share it with you today.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's gotta be some evidence there. There's gonna be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's gonna be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's gonna be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's gonna be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
Leave a like on the video if you're a fan of YNW Melly. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. Now, YNW Bortlen was explaining on how Sakchaser and Juvy's passing went down in a very weird way. From the expressions made by the feds in that interview, you could tell that Bortlen was practically lying, even with the officer stating at the end of the video clip that he has an idea of what really happened. Now, this was later explained in further detail inside of court files. To sum it up, YNW Melly was at a recording studio with Bortlen, Sakchaser, and Juvy. The 4 rappers hopped inside of their Jeep when the session was over, with Bortlen driving the vehicle. With YNW Bortlen driving home, he was then later crossed on the road by rival street members that were allegedly using firearms against their vehicle. So him being the driver of the vehicle, he was protecting his side of the car, so turning his vehicle to point Sakchaser and Juvy towards the rival street members. And that in end is practically how they passed. But what YNW Bortlen didn't mention was the GPS evidence found within YNW Melly's cell phone. You see, the feds teamed up with T-Mobile in the courtroom. They used YNW Melly's cell phone as a GPS tracking device as it was located in his jeans pocket the whole night. The GPS evidence shared the vehicle being driven into a side street parking lot. The vehicle then sat in park near the back of the parking lot, and YNW Melly was seen stepping out of the car, walking around it in a suspicious way twice before hopping back in. Now, with the vehicle sitting in park for roughly 30 minutes, this GPS evidence practically is sharing that Melly stepped out of the Jeep, walked around it, used his firearm towards it to make it appear as if the car went through a drive-by. Then after an hour passed, YNW Bortlen then drove Sakchaser and Juvy to the local hospital for medical attention. Meanwhile, YNW Melly, on the same GPS evidence, was being tracked sprinting home on foot rather than going to the hospital with his 2 best friends. With this GPS evidence, the YNW Melly case is looking very grim, as Melly's lawyers are now getting desperate on representing their client well enough to even be released on bond for a dentist appointment. With Melly's lawyers getting desperate, they're trying any way possible to get the Florida rapper out of jail. YNW Melly's first attempt out of escaping jail was during a court hearing at the beginning of September, where YNW Melly requested to leave jail immediately to treat an abscess in his teeth, which is due to his permanent diamond grill. It was reported that YNW Melly is unable to properly clean his teeth and allegedly does not have access to a regular toothbrush or dental floss. Something as simple as a dentist appointment that can only take a few hours was denied in the courtroom, giving you a hint towards how guilty the judge thinks that YNW Melly is. But it wasn't until 2 weeks later where something very concerning happened. Fast forward to September 30th, where news outlets started reporting, and I quote, YNW Melly is being accused of teaming up with one of his lawyers to plot a prison escape. As the Broward County Jail, where YNW Melly is currently locked up, did an interview with Complex, where they mentioned this, and I quote, on April 11th, 2022, the Broward Sheriff's Office received a confidential tip regarding inmates Nicholas Lewis and Jamal Demons, aka YNW Melly, both housed in the same unit at the main jail, planning a prison escape by having Jamal Demons' attorney bring in 2 handcuff keys in order to aid the escape. Additional information provided by the source was that Lewis had an illegal item in jail, as well as narcotics that were not prescribed to him. As the statement continues saying, jail authorities searched Lewis's jail cell after the tip, which came from another inmate. They found multiple illegal items and narcotics for which he did not have a prescription for. YNW Melly's cell was also searched, but nothing was found except food from the commissary and an excessive amount of jail-issued clothing. Now, this all started when another inmate in YNW Melly's cell block informed the county jail that Melly and his inmate were up to shady things. Allegedly, this inmate that snitched on Melly was walking by Melly and his friend while they were having lunch. With the snitch eavesdropping on their conversation, they allegedly heard that Melly was planning a prison escape with this man, and it all started with Melly's lawyers sliding him a handcuff key during their next meeting. YNW Melly's own mom actually reacted to this on Instagram as well.
Okay, so I'm at work and I just seen this crazy story. First of all, this is just another tactic for them to try to literally just tarnish my son's character and everything. They do not want him having attorney visits in person, which will cause for ineffective counsel. So we went to court for that. And they took his phone calls and they have him locked down. They had no evidence whatsoever that his attorneys did anything wrong to prove these accusations, but they knew it would get picked up by the media. So when we get ready to pick a jury, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, it's gonna be, oh, this kid tried to escape. Oh, this kid tried to do all these things. This is all fake because they do not have a case.
Now, in the video, YNW Melly's mom mentions how the feds have no evidence against Melly, so the prosecutors are trying to do anything they can to make him look bad in front of the jury. Now, this does actually make some sort of sense, and let me explain. On July 6th, there was paperwork released revealing that YNW Melly will no longer be facing the penalty within his case. Now, this is due to reports of sloppy paperwork by the feds and court system resulting in the penalty being dropped. But there was also good defenses coming out from Melly's side, proving that he did not do this crime to Sakchaser and Juvy, as YNW Melly's music manager named 100K Track did an interview with DJ Academics, where he stated this in the interview.
He built a real great solid team away from just being innocent because he wouldn't do such a crime. He prepared himself and got a proper, defense. Their job is to handle themselves in trial, not on social media. You guys are taking it that way. If they say they got DNA in a car, I'm just gonna tell you, Melly DNA was found in the car. You're gonna think, yeah, his DNA was found in the car the day of the. Oh, he jumped in a car and his DNA was in the car. He did it, okay? But you're not gonna put the fact that this was his car for 6-7 months on those documents and dockets and just automatically be like, yo, he's fried. You don't even know what the defense is. You don't even know what the rebuttal is. You don't even know why that situation occurred. You hear ballistics flying. You don't know what the defense is. You hear this, you hear that. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest.
While things do look a little better after hearing Melly's mom, as well as his manager say they have good defenses, here's where it gets a little bit more concerning. At his most recent court hearing, YNW Melly was stated in court to be the guilty person in this case. And this is due to a detective in court admitting that he believes the rapper was likely the one who committed the act towards the 2 YNW affiliates. So according to court documents obtained by XXL, Detective Christopher Williams is testifying against YNW Melly in the trial. Detective Williams is known to be one of the greatest detectives at recreating crime scenes in order to build an image on how certain crimes went down. Now, Williams reconstructed the crime scene of YNW Melly's case. He built human-like figures being the same height and weight of each YNW affiliate. He even then bought the exact same Jeep they were driving in order to test out his crime scene. He then used firearms towards the figures, and everything lined up the exact same as the actual crime scene inside of the Jeep. But it also revealed that YNW Melly most likely did this act only 8 inches away from Sakchaser and Juvy's faces. And this is due to the aftermath of something, you know, in that area. All signs of who did this crime was sitting where YNW Melly was in the vehicle at the time. And here's even the photo of where everyone was. YNW Bortlen, being the driver, had Melly sitting behind him, leaving Sakchaser and Juvy both on the opposite side of the car. When you look at this photo, what do you believe happened? Leave a comment down below on what you believe happened and if YNW Melly is innocent or guilty. It's been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.